The text that destroyed Alexander Porter's life was sent at exactly 3:17 p.m. on a Tuesday. A flirty message meant for his dinner date that accidentally went to Victor Reynolds, CEO of the pharmaceutical company that held his daughter's life in their hands. Alex's stomach dropped as he stared at his phone in horror, realizing his catastrophic mistake. Looking forward to tonight. Can't stop thinking about your smile and wondering what it would be like to kiss you. I'm wondering what to wear to impress you. 4 years without dating has made me a bit rusty. Alex had 5 minutes of panic before his doorbell rang. 5 minutes to contemplate how he had just torpedoed his last chance to get his 8-year-old daughter Lily into the experimental treatment program that could save her life. Victor Reynolds, known throughout the business world as the Ice King, had personally driven to his modest suburban home in Newton after receiving his message. As he approached the door with trembling hands, Alex knew this wasn't just embarrassing, it was potentially devastating. Without Reynolds Pharmaceuticals' treatment program, Lily's rare immune disorder would continue to progress, and the single father would lose the only person left in his world who mattered. When he opened the door, Victor Reynolds stood on his porch looking nothing like his polished magazine covers. His normally perfect blonde hair was slightly windblown, and his piercing blue eyes were wide with an emotion Alex couldn't identify. "Mr. Porter," he said, his voice surprisingly soft. "I believe we need to discuss the message you sent me." Alex felt his face burn with shame. "Mr. Reynolds, I am so incredibly sorry. That text was never meant." Victor held up one manicured hand. "May I come in? I think we have more to discuss than just an errant text message." Confused and terrified, Alex stepped aside to let him enter his home. Toy wires scattered across the living room floor, and dishes from breakfast still sat in the sink. He'd been so focused on preparing for tomorrow's meeting with Reynolds Pharmaceuticals that housekeeping had fallen by the wayside. "Daddy, who's here?" Lily appeared in the hallway, her small frame swimming in an oversized unicorn pajama set, her once thick brown hair now thin from treatments. Despite everything, her smile still lit up the room. What happened next left Alex speechless. Victor Reynolds, the man whose ruthless business tactics had earned him the nickname the Ice King, knelt down to Lily's level. "Hello there, I'm Victor. I work at the company that makes medicine." His voice had transformed completely warm and gentle, where moments before it had been controlled and professional. "Are you the man who can help make me better?" Lily asked with the directness only children possess. Victor's composed expression faltered for just a moment. "I'm certainly going to try," he said, and Alex could have sworn he saw his eyes glisten. "Would you be willing to share your story of a mistake that led to something unexpected? Sometimes our greatest errors open doors we never imagined possible." Subscribe to Heart Stories to hear more tales of how life's mishaps can become turning points that change everything. After Lily reluctantly returned to her room, Victor turned to Alex with an intensity that made him nervous. "Your daughter is the reason you have been trying to meet with my company for the past 4 months." "Yes," Alex admitted. "Lily has Harrington syndrome. Your company's experimental treatment is showing the most promise. But we've been denied entry into the trial 3 times. Tomorrow's appeal was our last chance." Victor's gaze traveled around the modest home, taking in the family photos, the medical bills stacked on the counter, the calendar on the wall marked with hospital appointments. "You're raising her alone." "Her father, Michael, died when she was 4. Car accident." The words still felt raw even after 4 years. "The text is why I'm here," Victor said. "I received your message during a board meeting. I excused myself to read your file, and what I found disturbed me greatly." He pulled out his tablet and showed Alex his application history. "Your case should have been prioritized months ago. Someone buried it deliberately." Alex felt like the floor had dropped out from under him. "What? Why would anyone do that?" Victor's expression hardened. "That's exactly what I intend to find out. But first, I want to hear about Lily, not from a clinical file, but from her father." Alex ran his hand through his dark brown hair, the stress of the past years visible in the premature gray at his temples. At 36, he looked older. The weight of being both father and teacher etched into the lines around his hazel eyes. Lily was always healthy until she turned 6, Alex began, placing a mug of coffee in front of Victor. She came home from school with a fever one day. We thought it was just a cold, but it never went away. Then came the joint pain, the rashes, the infections. His voice caught. 3 doctors and 6 months later, we finally got the diagnosis Harrington's syndrome. She used to dance, he said softly, showing Victor a photo of a younger Lily in a ballet costume. Now she gets winded walking to the mailbox. Your company's targeted therapy is the first real hope we've had. Victor's perfectly composed facade cracked slightly as he studied the photo. And you've been denied entry to the trial 3 times. Yes, first they said her case wasn't severe enough. Then they said it was too severe. The last rejection just said not eligible with no explanation. Victor's blue eyes flashed with anger. You shouldn't have had to fight this hard. He pulled out his phone and sent a rapid-fire text. I'm having my assistant pull every communication about Lily's case. That evening, Alex shared Lily's journey, the devastating diagnosis, the failed treatments, the mounting medical bills that had forced him to sell their family home. As a high school science teacher at Newton North, his salary and insurance covered the basics, but the experimental treatments were financially out of reach without the clinical trial. When Lily called out for a glass of water, Alex excused himself. Upon returning, he found Victor standing by the bookshelf, studying a photo of him and Lily at the beach last summer. She has your eyes, Victor observed softly. Then, more businesslike, Mr. Porter Alex, I'm adding Lily to the treatment program effective immediately. Alex nearly dropped the water glass. Just like that? But we've been trying for months. Yes, and I'll be addressing that internal failure tomorrow. Someone deliberately obstructed your application. As the night deepened, Victor revealed something that stunned Alex. My younger brother David had Harrington syndrome 20 years ago, before there were any effective treatments. That's why I built Reynolds Pharmaceuticals to develop treatments for rare diseases that other companies ignore because they're not profitable enough. I had no idea, Alex said softly. Your company bio doesn't mention a brother. Some things are too personal for corporate websites. Victor replied, a hint of vulnerability in his voice. David was 12 when he died. I was 17 and promised him I'd find a way to help other children like him. He looked toward Lily's bedroom. Children like your daughter. Victor's phone buzzed with an incoming message. Through the kitchen window, Alex watched as Victor paced the small deck, his posture rigid as he spoke into his phone. Even from a distance, Alex could see the transformation. The warm, compassionate man who had sat at his table was gone, replaced by the formidable CEO whose reputation struck fear into pharmaceutical executives across the country. This was the Victor Reynolds the business world knew, commanding, uncompromising, fierce. The contrast with the man who had knelt to speak with Lily was striking, leaving Alex wondering which version was the real Victor Reynolds. When Victor returned, intensity lingered in his eyes. I've just spoken with my head of clinical trials. There appears to have been interference in Lily's case. Someone with a personal agenda. What kind of interference? Alex asked, alarmed. Victor hesitated, choosing his words carefully. My ex-husband sits on the board. He oversees the clinical trial division. It seems he's been selective about which cases receive approval. Your ex-husband blocked my daughter's treatment. Alex felt a surge of anger. Why would he do that? Because he knew it would matter to me, Victor said quietly. He's been bitter since our divorce 3 years ago. He knows how personal the Harrington's research is to me because of David. I never imagined he would stoop to using patients as pawns in his vendetta against me. Alex struggled to process this. So, if I hadn't sent that text by mistake, he would have continued blocking Lily's application. Corporate bureaucracy is very effective at burying things. Victor finished. The realization that his daughter's life had been caught in a corporate power struggle made Alex feel sick. That's monstrous. Yes, Victor agreed, his voice hard. And he will be removed from the board by tomorrow. I've already called an emergency meeting. He looked at Alex with unexpected gentleness. But none of that matters for Lily. What matters is that she starts treatment immediately. As Victor prepared to leave, he paused at the door. The treatment program starts next week. I'll send a car for you and Lily on Monday morning. His professional tone had returned, but something in his eyes had changed. And Mr. Porter, about that text message. Alex winced again. I'm so incredibly sorry. It was completely inappropriate. It was the first genuine human communication I've received in months. Victor interrupted. Everyone is too intimidated to speak to me like a person. Your mistake was refreshing. A hint of a smile touched his lips. Though perhaps save the caring comments for after we've actually met properly. The next morning, Alex woke to find a sleek black car parked outside his house. The driver delivered an envelope containing all the paperwork for Lily's admission to the treatment program, along with a handwritten note from Victor. Treatment starts Monday. Don't worry about transportation. A car will pick you up at 8 a.m. When Alex told Lily she was starting the new medicine on Monday, her reaction broke his heart. Instead of excitement, her first response was worry. But Daddy, how will we pay for it? You said it costs more than our house. He knelt beside her bed, taking her small hands in his. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Sweetheart, Mr. Reynolds is making sure you get the medicine as part of a special program. Lily's eyes widened. The nice man who knows about medicine, is he going to be there on Monday? I think he might be, Alex said, surprised by his daughter's immediate attachment to Victor. Good, Lily declared. I like him. He didn't talk to me like I'm a baby. And he smells nice, like the cologne Daddy Michael used to wear. Alex felt a lump form in his throat at the mention of Michael, his late husband. In the 4 years since the car accident, Lily rarely mentioned her other father unprompted. That she would connect Victor to this precious memory felt significant. On Monday morning, precisely at 8 a.m., a black car pulled up outside their house. To Alex's surprise, Victor himself stepped out, dressed more casually than before, tailored black pants and a simple blue shirt, his blonde hair loose around his shoulders. I thought I'd accompany you both today, he said. First days can be intimidating. Lily immediately brightened at the sight of Victor. You came, Daddy said you might. Victor knelt to Lily's level and handed her a small gift bag. Inside was a beautiful journal with a night sky cover. It's for recording your journey. When my brother was sick, he kept a journal of all his good days. It helped him remember that even during treatment, there were still beautiful moments. Lily clutched the journal to her chest. Thank you. I'm going to write about today because it's already a good day. At Massachusetts General Hospital, Alex expected Victor to hand them off to the medical staff. Instead, he stayed through the entire first treatment, working remotely during the 4-hour infusion, occasionally stepping out for urgent calls, but always returning to Lily's side. When a nurse had trouble finding a vein for Lily's IV, Victor held her hand and told her stories about constellations. When Lily fell asleep during the infusion, Victor quietly covered her with a blanket, his touch gentle and paternal in a way that made Alex's heart ache. You don't have to stay, Alex said softly as they watched Lily sleep. I'm sure you have more important things to know. Victor looked at him with surprise. More important than this, Alex. I've spent 20 years building a company to create treatments like this. Watching them actually help a child, that's the most important thing I could possibly do today. 3 weeks later, Lily had started the treatment program, and the initial results were promising. Alex had just tucked her into bed when his phone buzzed with a text from Victor. Treatment results looking excellent. Would you be available for dinner Friday to discuss Lily's progress? Before he could respond, another text arrived. And to be clear, this is not just about Lily's treatment. I've been thinking about your smile too. Alex. What Alex didn't know was that Victor was sitting in his car outside his house again, gathering the courage to ring his doorbell. The man who had built an empire was terrified of the feelings this single father and his brave daughter, Ao, had awakened in him. Victor gripped his steering wheel, knuckles white against the black leather. He'd left a board meeting early, making vague excuses about a doctor's appointment. The truth that he couldn't stop thinking about a high school science teacher with kind eyes and his brave little girl would have shocked his colleagues. Victor Reynolds, distracted by feelings impossible. Yet here he was, his heart racing like a teenager's. He'd spent 20 years building his company, focusing solely on his mission to make life-saving medications accessible. Personal relationships had always been collateral damage to his ambition, but something about Alex Porter and his daughter had slipped past his defenses. Perhaps it was the way Alex fought tirelessly for Lily, never becoming bitter despite the obstacles. Perhaps it was seeing his brother's struggle reflected in Lily's brave smile. His phone chimed with Alex's reply. "Dinner sounds perfect. My parents are taking Lily for the night. 7:07 p.m. Victor took a deep breath. He would come back tomorrow, not as the CEO of Reynolds Pharmaceuticals, but simply as a man taking a chance on connection. The next evening, Victor spent an unprecedented amount of time choosing his outfit. His closet was filled with power suits and formal attire, armor he'd worn to battle his way through the pharmaceutical industry. He finally selected a simple blue dress he'd bought years ago but never worn. His executive assistant had nearly fallen out of her chair when Victor announced he was leaving at 5 p.m. In 5 years, Diane had never seen her boss leave before 4:08 p.m. unless it was for another business function. Their first official date was at an upscale restaurant where Victor arrived wearing the simple blue dress instead of his signature power suit. "I haven't worn anything but business attire to dinner in years," he admitted. "My executive team would be shocked." "You look beautiful," Alex said honestly. Over dinner, he learned about the real Victor, the man who climbed mountains on rare vacations, who had a secret passion for astronomy, and who had sacrificed a personal life to build a company dedicated to his brother's memory. "I became the Ice King because it was necessary," he confessed. "The pharmaceutical industry isn't kind to gay men who show emotion. Being cold and calculating, that was the only way to be taken seriously." "And now," Alex asked softly. Victor's eyes met his. "Now I'm terrified because for the first time in 20 years, I care about something beyond my company. I care about what happens to Lily and to you." Alex realized Victor was letting him see beneath the armor, showing him the man who had been hiding behind the Ice King persona all these years. "You know," Alex said, reaching across the table to take his hand, "Lily asks about you every day. She's convinced you're some kind of superhero disguised as a businessman." Victor laughed, a sound so genuine it transformed his face. "I wanted to be an astronaut when I was little. Before, he didn't need to finish. Before his brother got sick. Before his childhood dreams were replaced by a mission." "It's not too late for stargazing," Alex suggested. "Lily would love to have a stargazing partner." As the evening progressed, they discovered unexpected commonalities. Both loved classic films, had run marathons, and shared a weakness for mystery novels. When Alex described his struggle to balance work and Lily's care, Victor listened with an understanding few others had shown. "After David died, my parents' marriage fell apart," he revealed. "My father buried himself in work and my mother in grief. I was left to pick up the pieces. That's why I respect what you're doing for Lily so much. You didn't run. You faced it head on." When he walked Victor to his car, Alex found himself drawn to this complex man who contained multitudes. When he leaned in to kiss him, Victor met him halfway, his lips soft in a way that belied his reputation. "I should warn you," he whispered. "I'm not good at this. Relationships, vulnerability, any of it." Alex smiled. "Good thing I accidentally sent you my best flirting material already." His laughter, free and unguarded, echoed in the quiet street. The next morning, Victor arrived at his office to find his ex-husband, Richard, waiting. "You had me removed from the board." he said, his voice cold. 20 years of building this company together, and you throw me out over one case. It wasn't just one case, Richard. It was what that case represented. You used a child's life as leverage in your vendetta against me. The Porter girl didn't meet the trial criteria. She met every criterion, Victor countered. The only reason she was rejected was because you saw my note of interest in her case. Richard's expression hardened. You've changed. Victor, there was a time when you understood that business decisions couldn't be personal. Now you're risking a multi-million-dollar trial on some emotional connection to a child who reminds you of David. Get out of my office, Richard. Your severance package is generous. Take it and go start another company where you can prioritize profits over people. After Richard left, Victor sat at his desk, hands shaking slightly. For 20 years, he'd played by Richard's rules, compartmentalizing, prioritizing efficiency over empathy. Meeting Alex and Lily had made him question everything about the man he'd become. That weekend, Victor joined Alex and Lily for a picnic in the park. He arrived carrying a telescope and a star chart, much to Lily's delight. In his worn jeans and faded t-shirt, Alex looked nothing like the polished executives Victor usually associated with. When he caught Victor watching him and smiled, Victor felt something inside him shift and settle. As weeks turned into months, Victor became a regular presence in their lives. He joined them for movie nights and Sunday pancake breakfasts. The man who had once been known for making pharmaceutical executives tremble was now the same man who sat on the floor building Lego sets with an increasingly healthy 8-year-old. Alex watched in amazement as Lily blossomed under the new treatment and as Victor blossomed away from the corporate world that had defined him for so long. In his eyes, both transformations were equally miraculous. Victor's board members expressed concern about his distraction, and some of Alex's fellow teachers raised eyebrows at his dating a pharmaceutical executive. But as Lily's health improved dramatically, their critics fell silent. "You're changing your whole company," Alex observed one evening, "all because of one misdirected text." Victor looked thoughtful. "No, not because of the text, because it made me see what I'd been missing. I built Reynolds to help children like David, but somewhere along the way, I lost sight of the actual children. I became so focused on the science and the business that I forgot about the people." In Victor's office, a new photo now sat on his desk alongside the one of David, a picture of him, Alex, and Lily at the planetarium. For the first time in 20 years, his corporate bio now mentioned his late brother. The Ice King was melting, and in his place was emerging a leader whose compassion was proving to be his greatest strength. 6 months after the text message that changed everything, Alex and Lily moved into Victor's home, a beautiful house in Beacon Hill, with a garden where Lily could play and a dedicated observatory dome on the roof. Reynolds Pharmaceuticals had expanded their rare disease program, helping dozens of children like Lily access life-saving treatments. "You know," Alex said one evening as they watched Lily running through the sprinklers, her strength fully returned. "That text was the best mistake I ever made." Victor laughed, a sound that had become wonderfully familiar. "I saved it in a special folder on my phone." He leaned against Alex. "Though the reality of kissing you is much better than just wondering about it." The transformation in Victor didn't go unnoticed in the business world. Financial magazines that had once described him as ruthlessly efficient and coldly brilliant now use terms like innovative and compassionate pioneer. "They're calling you the king with a heart now," Alex teased, showing him a business magazine cover featuring his photo. Victor rolled his eyes. "Journalists and their ridiculous nicknames." "I don't know," Lily chimed in. "I think it's better than Ice King. Hearts are warmer than ice." Or 1 year to the day after the misdirected text, Alex knelt in their garden while Lily held a small velvet box. When Victor came home from work and saw them waiting, he froze, his hand flying to his mouth. "You changed our lives by showing up at our door that day," Alex said, his voice thick with emotion. "You saved Lily, but you also saved me from a life of fear and loneliness. We love you. Victor, will you marry us?" Lily bounced excitedly. Uh, please say yes. I already told everyone at school you're going to be my dad. Tears something the business world would have sworn Victor Reynolds was incapable of streamed down his face as he nodded, unable to speak. Later that night, after Lily was asleep, he showed Alex a screenshot he'd saved his accidental text message from a year ago. I look at it whenever I need courage, he whispered. It reminds me that sometimes the best things in life come from our mistakes. Their wedding was small and intimate, held in the garden of their home with Lily as the flower girl. Victor's assistant, Diane, who had watched her boss transform from the Ice King to a man who now left work at reasonable hours, served as his best woman. Alex's parents, who had initially been wary of Victor's wealth and status, had become his champions after seeing how he loved their son and granddaughter. 2 years later, they adopted twins, a boy they named Michael after Alex's late husband, and a girl they named Sophia after Victor's brother, Lily, now a healthy 11-year-old with a passion for astronomy and medicine. Took her role as big sister with the same determination she'd shown in fighting her illness. The Harrington syndrome treatment that had saved Lily's life received full FDA approval, and Reynolds Pharmaceuticals established a foundation ensuring that no family would be denied access due to financial constraints. Victor still ran the company, but with a new philosophy that balanced business success with human compassion. On the 5th anniversary of their meeting, the family gathered in the observatory dome at the top of their house. Lily, now 13, confidently guided her younger siblings through the telescope, pointing out constellations with the expertise of a budding astronomer. Michael and Sophia, 5 years old and full of energy, took turns looking through the eyepiece, gasping with delight at the stars. Victor wrapped his arm around Alex as they watched their children, a contentment in his eyes that had once seemed impossible. The business titan who had built walls around his heart had found something more valuable than any pharmaceutical breakthrough a family made whole through an unlikely twist of fate. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I hadn't sent that text? Alex asked softly. Victor shook his head. I try not to think about it. Some things are meant to be, even if they arrive in unexpected ways. Lily called them over, eager to show them Jupiter rising on the horizon. As they crossed the room, Victor glanced at his phone where a notification showed an email from the foundation. Another child had just been approved for the treatment program that would save their life. Their story, from a mortifying text error to a family made whole, became something of a legend among their friends. If you've ever made a mistake that felt like the end of the world, remember Alex and Victor. Sometimes our worst moments open doors we never imagined, and second chances come in the strangest forms. Have you ever had a moment when what seemed like a disaster turned into a blessing, a mistake that led to something wonderful you never expected? Share your story in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Heart Stories for more tales of unexpected journeys that remind us how life's greatest gifts often arrive in packages we never thought to look for.